They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew, let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stars in the House. I'm James Wesley.
and I'm Seth Rudetsky.
Yes.
Sun's out, guns out.
Well, it is summer.
I was just so hot. I couldn't put on a shirt. Stars in the House is a fundraiser for the Actors Fund. And we began it when, my piano's not on. I was going to do a big dramatic thing. We began it when Broadway shut down. You know, God damn, hold on. Broadway. Anyway, when Broadway shut down, we began it. But it doesn't just help Broadway people, and it doesn't just help actors. It helps anybody in the arts: actors, singer, dancers, backstage, stage managers, wig people, publicists, ushers, house managers,
Professionals in the performing arts all over the country.
Yeah.
And with all the shows that we've done, no one has explained, sorry, Brian Stokes Mitchell, BB Newirth, though they're wonderful in how they explain the Actors Fund. No one has explained the Actors Fund better than Chandra Wilson, who is here live with us.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of her love for the Actors Fund, her being a trustee. She's on the Western Council. If I got that wrong, Chandra, you'll correct me. And number three, because she's a recipient of help way before she was Dr. Bailey.
Yeah.
And she got help from the Actors Fund. She's the perfect combination of someone representing the Actors Fund and explaining what it is. And you'll hear that in today's Encore. But like I said, we have her here live.
Yeah, we're live right now. It's August 7th, right?
That's
August
right.
7th.
But so if you want to donate and have Chandra read your donation aloud, please go now to starsinthehouse.com or text Fund 2020 to 56512. You'll get a receipt from the Actors Fund. Forward that along with the short message, and you send it to donations@starsinthehouse.com. But do it soon. We're going to have a medical update in 1 minute with Dr. Jon LaPook, the chief medical correspondent of CBS News and our chief medical correspondent. And then we're going to have Chandra Wilson on. And then we're going to have the Encore that Chandra herself, the episode that she put together in January.
Yeah, and if you send a donation, and Chandra will read it as Dr. Bailey, a.k.a. Angry with a Heart of Gold.
Thank
you.
All right, before we bring on Dr. LaPook, we have to say, okay, two things. One, Broadway reopened this week. We know that Bruce Springsteen has his show, and he began, but Bruce, a scripted
beginning, middle,
show
end characters
is Passover that began this week at the August Wilson Theater. So shout out to them being the first Broadway play to reopen on Broadway, which is so exciting. Can't wait to see it.
Everybody in the audience, vaxxed and masked.
That's right, everyone. And we have to special shout out to our most frequent guest host and our dear friend, Brenda Braxton, Lady B. We have to say happy birthday to Brenda Braxton. We love you. And you're always there for us when we need you. And happy birthday.
And speaking of Angry with a Heart of Gold, she plays partner Madeline on The Good Fight. And she's constantly like shaking her head.
Shaking her head at Audra.
But like looking stunning, but just a lot of this happening.
She is not having it. Okay. So let's bring on Dr. LaPook. Don't forget to send in those donations. And let's bring on Dr. Jon LaPook.
Hi, Dr. LaPook.
Hi, guys. How beautiful a voice does Liz Calloway have?
Stunning. Why? Because she's doing her show 54 Below? Why have you been thinking about her?
Because I heard, Liz Calloway, not like Ed Sullivan, but just the beginning of this song of the show. I mean, she's perfect. Every note, bang, bam.
Yes, right in the middle.
Right in the center of the pitch. Totally.
So great. Anyway, just thought I would say something surprising and non-medical.
So, well, Dr. LaPook, so you and I spoke a couple of days ago about my medical procedure that I was going to have done. I was going to have a colonoscopy a few days ago, and I told Dr. LaPook this story that I'm about to relay.
This is perfect for Grey's Anatomy.
And it's perfect. And I waited purposely because of Grey's Anatomy, because nothing's gonna. I know we have new viewers, which, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Stars in the House, if you haven't already.
A lot more TV show reunions are coming up.
That's right. But we thought this would not make anyone squeamish who's a fan of Grey's Anatomy, because if you
Hold on.
Yes, go ahead, Seth.
Anyone watching right now, we're having a full medical break, which we always do. We've done since the very first episode. Dr. Jon LaPook has been volunteering since first episode. So any comments about we don't care, enough about COVID, get to the Grey's Anatomy, you'll be blocked in 5 seconds. So just cut in the comments. Chandra's coming soon, and then Grey's Anatomy. Dr. Jon LaPook, I want a full vaccine mask update. Go.
Well, hold on. We're talking about what's a really practical thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was going to have my colonoscopy on Wednesday, right? Just a checkup. I had done all the uncomfortable cleanse Tuesday. I was told to bring my vaccination card, and I assumed that everyone there on the staff would be vaccinated. I get ready, I get in the gown, I lay down on the table, and it's a small room. I'm like wondering, okay, how's the ventilation in here? But I thought, okay, I'm masked.
Did they ask to see your card when you first entered?
They did not ask to see my card, which was a red flag.
They said it was required, but nobody asked.
But I kind of let that go. I didn't like it, but I kind of let that go. And then it was me and the anesthesiologist. I had my really secure, KN95 mask on, and I'm laying on the table, and it's just me and the anesthesiologist in this small room.
By the way, just FYI,
Yeah.
24-hour prep, not eating anything, drinking disgustingness. So it's a long prep.
And I got the urgent stat call from you 25 hours before the procedure saying scrambled eggs. Okay, it's not 24 hours yet. I gave the green light for the scrambled eggs.
Which, by the way, that was all him.
That was me because I felt so bad that he wasn't eating.
That was him.
That's
being
my codependence.
I'm like, he has protein in his body. He's not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't eat them.
Like, I have two words for you: Yom Kippur. I mean, you can go for a day. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm on the table, and when this is my third colonoscopy, and I've never had oxygen before, and he pulled my mask down to put the oxygen cannula on, and I felt really exposed. And he had just a regular surgical mask, like you see on Grey's Anatomy. It wasn't an N95, which
Right.
was a question that you had asked me, Dr. LaPook.
Yep.
It was not. And after a minute, he had literally put in the IV in my hand, so you can see the bruise there, right? After I was all prepped, I just went with my gut, and I said, "Where have you been vaccinated?" And he paused for a second, and he said, "No." And
This is like a thriller. I'm freaking out.
said, "Then I'm not going to continue with the procedure." And he was a little thrown, and he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes. You haven't been vaccinated, and I don't feel safe."
He would be asleep with this guy. I mean, who knows if his mask would be off or on?
And so he left the room, and the doctor who was going to do the procedure came in, and he said that he was surprised. The anesthesiologists are on a contractor basis, and all of his staff are vaccinated. In fact, one person quit because on his staff because they did not want to get vaccinated. And he wrongly assumed that everyone at this practice that does anesthesiology was vaccinated, and he was wrong. And so he wanted to do the procedure without anesthesia, without me being out. And I'm like, no, I can't call Dr. LaPook right now to ask his opinion. My phone's in the locker.
Come over and done the procedure, whisked you over to the ambulatory care center at NYU Langone.
So
everyone.
And so I left, and I called Seth, and then the next person I called was you, or I texted you and you called me. And what was your response, Dr. LaPook? Because I want everyone to hear it. So
first of all, and I'm going to actually give you a standing ovation, even though you're not going to see my. This is what a patient should do. Forget about just during the pandemic, period. So patients need to be empowered. It's a partnership. There needs to be communication. I came over from Columbia, where I'd been for 37 years, 8 years ago, to NYU Langone Health. The reason was to start something called the Empathy Project. People can go to empathyproject.com. One word, empathyproject.com. The whole reason we make short, Hollywood quality short films to teach clinicians to be more empathetic, sensitive, and competent, and to empower patients to demand that. I can't imagine how many other people in that position would have had the intestinal fortitude, no pun intended, to actually say that. That's a position of power. You're vulnerable. You're in a gown. The person's up there. You have oxygen, and to be able to say, no, this is not working for me, and I'm getting up and leaving, just is fantastic. And it goes to a bigger issue. We'll stay within the pandemic. Right now, it's very tough time for people. It's emotionally tougher now than it was, I think, a year ago in some ways. Obviously, it was devastating a year ago because some people were dying left and right. Less of that now, although it's still happening. But a year ago, we knew what to do. Stay away from everybody. How many times have we talked about the fact that we were physically apart from everybody, but we were socially, we had to get together. That's what Stars in the House was about. Artists brought us together. But we knew, just stay in your apartment, avoid people, and be hunkered down. Now, do I go out? Do I stay home? If I go out, can I go to a restaurant, indoors, outdoor, mask, no mask? I had a patient call me. He wanted to take his daughter to Iceland. What are the risks of that? Somebody wanting to go to a wedding. So I think in these situations, we don't have enough time to go over all the algorithm of how you think about it. But I think the philosophy is you have to do what's comfortable for your own risk tolerance. And it has to do with who you're going to be around. If you're vaccinated. So the fact that you're vaccinated, if you happen to get a breakthrough infection, by the latest Kaiser Family Foundation chart about this, 98 to 99% of everybody who either dies or is hospitalized now has not been vaccinated. So this is a pandemic of the people who are not vaccinated. You can still get sick though, and some people do die. So, but it's really about, do you want to have a risk? What's your tolerance for a risk of being infected? And then if you do get infected, because you have to assume that could happen. We know it's happening up in Provincetown, fully vaxxed people. The nice thing about Provincetown was, and I spoke to the CDC 2 days ago about this, it's now the number is close to 1,000 people who got infected when you go around the country. Mm-hmm. Most of them were vaccinated, 7 hospitalizations, no deaths.
Right.
So turn the screw in your head a little bit and say, okay, that's not an example of a failure of the vaccine. That is an example of huge success.
Right.
No deaths, 7 hospitalizations. So it's not about that. It's about when you now come home, if you do happen to be infected, who can you infect? Right. And if you're around somebody who's under 12 who doesn't have the ability to get vaccinated, if you are around an older person, immunocompromised person, you are so responsible because you're not just thinking about who's in your house. You're thinking, who knows who I'm going to be in contact with? Who knows if I'm going to bump into somebody who is immunocompromised? I'm not wearing an N95 at all times. In your case, right? We're not running around with N95s 24/7 now.
Right.
But, there is an argument to be made to wear now the best mask possible, if you're going to be in one of those situations. I think at the end of the day, the applause is because you, in that moment, followed your gut, and that's what you do. You listen to the hairs on the back of your neck.
Right.
And, whatever it is, sometimes a patient will come in and the hairs will go up on the back of my neck after 5 minutes. And I don't know what it is, but I've learned to trust it. And you trusted your gut and your instincts. But above that, we've been trying to educate people here for a year and a half about how to think about those situations.
Right.
And it's the nitty gritty, right? And I just want to remind people, if you do happen to get an exposure, the incubation period is still 2 to 14 days. So don't think that, if you're exposed to somebody, I know the CDC guidelines now are if you're vaccinated and you get an exposure, you can get a test at 3 to 5 days. You don't have to isolate. You don't have to quarantine. You get a test at 3 to 5 days if it's negative. I'm not so sure about that now, and I'm waiting for that guidance to possibly. I know that the last thing they want to do is change guidance, but I think with Delta being, so infectious and things changing, you want to be careful. So part of your algorithm for when you could, if you are exposed, for when you could go back and be with other people, certainly still masked, has to do with who are those people? Right. Are they vulnerable? But the reason for that nitty gritty is it's tough right now. Even not that I'm the end of but I've been reading about this every day and talking to the CDC and the FDA, and I still am getting hours and hours of questions every day and my brain is hurting from thinking, okay, what do you do here? So all of which is to say, well done, James. And
thank you.
Everybody has to follow their gut.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. LaPook. We will see you. Well, actually, next week, the staff is taking over Stars in the House. So I know that every single one of them wants you to be here. So, but we will see you the following week.
All right. Are we saying where you're going, or you're just
we're letting the staff take over.
Okay, good. The staff is taking over, and
I'll be here watching.
Have a well-deserved week off.
All right. Bye, Dr. LaPook. All right.
We should Sith Corfam, Helene Bear, I think was literally accidentally blocked. So if you have a contact for her, tell her to email Stars in the House and we'll get her back on, because there are a lot of big mouths that keep bothering me that we're blocking. Sorry. Diana, you're next.
Well, let's bring Chandra Wilson.
Yeah, you're this close, Diana.
Hi, Chandra.
Hi, Chandra, looking sassy.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we've been at this a year and a half, and I still feel like nobody can hear, and my thingies don't work. And
aren't you a director? Don't you know technology?
No, you would think, but I still feel like I can't get used to any of this. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for having me back, and for doing the replay.
All right. Well. First off, thank you for organizing it. Number two, we talk to the Actors Fund probably a couple of times a week, and the amount of times that your name comes up and the number of people there that love you and your support for what they do is outrageously appropriate.
Well, here's the update to your introduction. Since so this year I was asked to be a part of the Board of Trustees, and let me tell you, that scared the heck out of me, because all of your insecurity flags go up, like why are they calling, and I had to put my Dr. Bailey on, basically the same reason I went to audition for Grey's Anatomy in the first place, to say, well, you have to be in the room. You're being asked. You can't help to continue the legacy of this organization and all of the help that we've been able to give, especially in the middle of COVID, if you're not in the room. So shut up and just go. And so that's what I did. And just looking forward to, being able to contribute to continuing all the amazing work that the Actors Fund has been able to do, up to this point.
Well, Chandra, you're not the only Grey's Anatomy cast member who's part of the Actors Fund family, right? The other one is also a fellow Houstonian.
Wait, who, what? Who, what?
Okay.
Oh, the lovely Miss Debbie Allen. That's what you're talking about. See, I'm still thinking local, being on the Western Council. But yeah, Debbie was part of the trustees. And so when I went to my first Zoom meeting, there she was on the Zoom. And even though I work with Debbie, every day, she's been on Grey's with me since season 7, it's still weird. And my fan things go off.
That's exactly what James said.
Yeah.
So, Chandra, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I know, because I grew up in we're the same age. I grew up in Houston. You grew up in Houston, and I don't know about you. Tell me if I'm wrong, but we're not like Seth grew up in the New York area. There's so many people that are from New York who make it big, and in LA, but in Houston, there weren't that many. And Debbie Allen, it was like, oh my gosh, Debbie Allen made it. It's that's a big deal. What was it like? Did you have that same feeling when you were young? And then what was it like meeting her?
So that's all my mother used to talk to me about, was Debbie Allen, and that fact that Debbie Allen was from Houston, Debbie Allen was from 3rd Ward, Debbie Allen was from our neighborhood. And we went to see West Side Story when it came to town. I think it was in 78. And Mom was like, we are going to see this because you need to see Debbie Allen. And so when Fame was out, I knew all of the songs on Fame. I sang I'm talking about the series, everything from the series. And when A Different World happened, I just knew I was going to be on A Different World. I just knew that somewhere. Never got a chance to audition for it, but I just knew. Debbie came to Brooklyn Academy of Music when I was pregnant with my first daughter. And I just went, to the seminar wearing a yellow jogging suit so I could be seen. And I stood up and I asked some asinine question. It probably didn't mean anything, but I just wanted to be seen in my yellow suit. So fast forward to Grey's Anatomy, I was directing in season 7, and Debbie was being brought over to direct her first episode, and she was going to direct after mine. So when I'm actually meeting Debbie Allen, spending time with Debbie Allen, it's not for an audition. It's not because I needed her to hire me. She was coming to watch me work so that she would know what to do on the show when it was her turn. My head wasn't ready for that. It wasn't ready for that. That's our meeting. I mean, I had gone to a concert at the Debbie Allen Dance Academy and sort of, met her casually that way. But, she is everything that you would expect her to be, treating you exactly how you would want her to treat you. That's how it's always been. But I still feel like I'm meeting her for the first time when I see her places. I still need to introduce myself. It's strange. I should probably talk about that in therapy. But it's strange.
All right, we want to remind everyone if you before we show the encore, if you're able to donate, go to starsinthehouse.com, forward your receipt to donations at starsinthehouse.com. But okay, so hold on. So Chandra, that when we had all of y'all on in January, we were only on maybe season 4, and we were kind of winging it because this was.
We were like, who is this Arizona character?
When you watch it, you see our panic right before, because Camilla had brought Jessica on
as a guest,
and we were like, who in the heck is this? Who in the heck is this?
Well, now you guys had done season 7 or something by then. But go ahead.
I think we lied. But now we're on now we've been watching 2 shows a night for a year and a half. Now we're
we see this woman every night. I wrote to Chandra a few weeks ago. We see this woman every night before we go to bed, and we love it. It's fantastic.
Our ritual.
So to give you an idea, Chandra, of where we are season wise, this is what your character was doing. Okay?
Not having it.
So that's where we're at.
That's thinking out of the box right there.
Wait, let me ask you, Chandra, how many takes? Is it one of those, we only have one computer and you better break it correctly the first time?
We were at the VA hospital in Northridge. That was where all of our hospital shooting was. It was late. We worked till the sun came up that night for that season finale. And we had all this fake rain and everything. And this is one of the scenes. Oh gosh, do I have it all right? It's all confused. No, that was on set. Oh, it felt like it was late at night, but anyway, it was a night scene, and basically, our director, it was Rob Korn. He told me, just have at it, just whatever happens, have at it. And I was like, well, I can't let the thing bounce off and nothing happen. That won't be cute. So I had at it. That's what happened to the poor little machine.
Okay. So Chandra, last night, the episode we watched was this one that happened to be directed by you. That's kismet, okay? And
it's where you start the story. You believe that there's something necrotic
with Dr. Weber.
So you operate on because you've been electrocuted, and you believe it. But Debbie Allen
Debbie Allen is not having it. And here's the scene between you and Debbie. Speaking of Debbie,
Dr. Avery, if you have any issues,
does he know why you cut open a man in severe cardiac distress just so you could poke around and see what's going on?
We looked at all of the options.
Tell him you feel guilty because the last thing Richard Weber heard from you is that he's a drunk who ruined your life. After all he's done for you. We talk on the phone for an hour every night. It came up. You feel bad, go find a priest, but do not try to fix it with a Hail Mary that very well may kill the man.
How fun was that for you?
I love it. I love it because she knew that she could, Debbie Allen's going to let you have it anyway, but she knew she could let me have it and it was safe. And I love that I didn't even need any words, just walk away. Like that was just the best response ever, just to walk around it. So I loved it.
Okay, Chandra, before we show the encore, I have a few more clips because I'm obsessed with your direction and I want to find out like what all of us who are watching, you don't have to be on Broadway. It could be off Broadway. It could be regional. It could be community theater. It could be high school theater. We all have an idea of what a theater director is. But what is a TV director and why? I think you're really good. And what is it?
Wow.
How is it different?
So first of all, I never saw myself as a dramatic series television director, only for theater, because that's my box. That's where I come from. So what basically I look at, each scene for just like I would in theater. Basically, the script is my Bible, just like it is in theater. Okay. I'm not looking to change it. I'm not looking for rewrites. I'm like, here is the Bible that you have given me. So let me bring this to life for the writer. It's really important to me that the writer sees everything that they had in mind and allowing the actors to bring it to life even better than what they thought. I always look at it from an actor standpoint first, right? My blocking is how would I realistically move around in this room. And once I know that, then that's when I figure out how to shoot it. So the big challenge for me when I first started as a director was to figure out, because we're a 3-camera show, where in the world do I put all these cameras? Like, how do I tell these stories? Like, what do you need to see? And the other thing that's really important is if the actors are giving you something valuable, something in their hands, something in their body language, it doesn't matter if we don't see it. So it's my job as the director to make sure that I stand back enough, watch the actors do their work, and then I go in and I tell camera, now show me all of that. Show me all of that behavior, because that's going to inform our audience. That's going to give them the experience that I would love for them to have in the scene. So that's really exciting, being able to go to the editing room and see that all of those pieces are there, all those puzzle pieces are there, and that they fit together nicely and tell the story. That part's exciting.
Well, Chandra, okay, because we literally just watched this episode last night, season 10, episode 2, and I have some clips because I would love to do this myself, but I want to get into your brain a little bit if you have a few minutes, because
Sure.
I would love to know, like, is it something that you rehearsed the actors first and then like you said, you honed in on it, or did you give them suggestions? So this one is with Sandra and Ellen, and I just love it because it's just so real and natural. And there's 2 specific parts of it that I want to ask, like how it got in there.
Arizona is in the lobby screaming at nurses.
Why?
Because she has no idea where Callie is, or the baby.
Oh, well, you need to tell her they're at my house. Callie's not a battered woman. We're not harboring her until she gets a restraining order. She just wants some space.
You don't think Arizona's called her like 300 times? If Callie wanted her to know where she was, she'd have told her.
Like that.
Okay.
Like that. Like it's so casual, and like, how do you direct that?
So the first thing about that scene is I remember it because it was late in the day, right? So one of the big priorities that you have as a director is to make sure that you're finishing your day, right? That you're not having a bunch of holdover scenes. So I already knew that this scene would be great if I only had to work in 2 directions, right? So incorporating Sandra coming in through the door incorporates that entrance and life that's going on behind her. And then I just owe back a couple of sizes on Meredith Grey over Sandra and her tighter, right? So I know I've got like an hour and a half scene basically. So between my master and my 2 sizes on Sandra, I've got all of her body language wherever she wants to be in the scene. It doesn't matter. I don't have to restrict her as an actor, right? To say you need to be, in this place or that place. She can move however she wants to move, and I've got it covered either way. So again, that scene was about time, right? An hour and a half, 2 directions, and the ability for the actors to be able to move however they want to move.
Okay, I have a couple more. Can I show you a couple more?
Sure.
I love this stuff, and I'm sure that other people who love you in the show do too. So this one, it's the same area, and I don't know if you shot it at the same time with Justin Chambers, and the scene begins with him and the baby, And then he makes this really funny face, and I want that's really cute and sweet, and I'm going to play it, and then we can talk about it after.
Oh, they're opening him up again.
Yep. Don't say anything.
I'm not.
She thought it was a stupid idea the first time, and even more stupid the second time.
Arizona?
Hold on, sorry. So like for that, is that your decision to start with him holding the baby?
It absolutely is. So storytelling wise, I want to establish that we're here with this baby. So this is precious, and then let myself open up to the room that we're in. So knowing that I was, coming from one scene into another in order to incorporate movement into that. So it's not so static. I can start with who I want the audience to focus on, this baby, and then pull back and see who's in the room. Right. And then, coverage wise, I allowed the cameras to go over Meredith's left shoulder and Alex's right shoulder for their relationship. But for Sandra, the appropriate shoulders for the correct eye lines, were for Sandra. But most of that scene played in that master so that the baby could be a part of it. Now, the other reason to also run that full master is just in case the baby's going to be like agitated and fidgety and all that good stuff. I can get the rest of the actors in the tights, but I at least have that one master where the baby's doing exactly what we want the baby to do, and everybody's able to be in the scene.
But what about Alex's cute face? Are you editing it and you're making sure you get a shot of that face, or another editor puts that in?
It's the so when you have multiple sizes, he may not do that on every take, but the take that he did it in, I was able to say, yeah, let's keep that one. So it allows me to have choices, basically, because we usually have like a master in two separate sizes, of each actor, so that we have a lot to choose from, and because. The hope is that you're going to get the same performance
right.
with every take. Again, coming back to theater, to me, it doesn't matter where the cameras are, if it's a master or a tight or whatever. I like to give the same performance at all times. And some people want more flexibility. They want to be able to switch it up. Well, great. I've got cameras covering you several sizes. So if you do something kind of interesting in one size that you didn't do in the other, it's fine because I've got it.
Okay, I got three more because I'm obsessed with this. If you don't mind, because I love what you did. Now I'm confirmed you're a great director. Yeah. You're great actors on the show, and you're just like Seth and I last night were like, wow. Look, we love Grey's Anatomy, but it's TV. Do 400 episodes. So, some are like just hit you more than others, mm-hmm. right? That's just how it all is. And your direction is just fantastic. So
it's been the best on-the-job training I could have ever asked for. I'd like to call it the University of Grey's, or the Grey's School of Directing. Most of it was under our director of photography, Herb Davis, who was with us for what are we in, season 6? So 15, I think, of the seasons. And Rob Korn, who was our executive producer for years and years and years, was like my encourager. I called him my show daddy. And then Debbie Allen kind of picked up the baton on that to continue to encourage and teach. And, she loves to tell me to, whenever the actors direct, we have video assist so that we can go back and watch the shot to make sure that it's what we wanted. And she's always saying, don't use that video assist. You don't need that video assist. You're a good actor. You don't need to go back and look at it. But for me, I really depend on video assist, because when I'm in a scene, I want to be Dr. Bailey. I don't want to be your director.
Okay.
So it's unfair of me not to go back and see the work in the scene so that I can be your director, because I'm trying to be Dr. Bailey in the scene. So I love video assist. She and I fight over that, but there we go.
There's merits for both. I can see it's like each side.
Yeah. It's like, I thank you for the compliment, but I need the video assist.
Right. So this one, at the end of it, it's just a fun scene. It's the same part of the show, but you do a close up of Ellen that's like it's wider, and then in the middle of the sentence it's closer. and I don't know if that's a Grey's Anatomy thing, if that was a Chandra Wilson decision. Look at this. It's at the very end.
Who's yours?
I never filled out the forms. Had the papers back when it was going to be Izzy.
Ooh, that was a bad plan.
It was all a bad plan. Why do you think I never turned them in?
Well, Mary could be yours too.
You think I make the wrong decisions all the time. I don't know why you're selling me to him.
What was that? I loved it.
Oftentimes in the middle of a sentence, we'll change size in the middle of a sentence, and you don't really realize that it's happened. But it's something. It's not unique to our show, but I certainly never noticed it until I started directing and would go through the experience in the editing room. A lot of times those choices come from the editor. To just break up a sentence in the middle of it and to change sizes. My mind keeps thinking, you play this sentence in this size, you play the next sentence in another size, but no, often we'll change sizes multiple times in the middle of the exact same sentence. So it's an interesting device. It's probably good for like short attention span folks too, to keep you alert. But yeah, it's something that I never noticed until I started directing.
You mentioned the editor. One of our favorites, Julia, says, how much input do you have on the editing once the episode is shot?
Much. So we have what's called the director's cut. So basically, during my episode, every day the dailies go up to the editor. The editor starts to put the show together every day based on what they get, right? Then after I finish, maybe 3 to 5 days later, I'll get the editor's cut. So it's the editor's version of just putting the puzzle pieces together to make sure they're there. Then I go in and work with the editor for 3 days or so in order to produce what is my director's cut, like what I had in mind. So anything that I noticed that the editor missed, they may have come into a scene in a way different than what I thought, or I may have specifically wanted to see feet here, and then we go into the scene, right? So those are the times when I get to take my time in the editing room in order to do the show that I thought that the writer meant. And then after that, it's hands up, I give it away to the producers, and then they turn it into Grey's Anatomy. So the compliment is when it looks pretty much so like the director's cut. You're like, oh, I did it. But sometimes it's a whole different show. And there could be a myriad of reasons for that, like storylines changed, or, you never know. So you have to learn to walk away and to not be insulted, just to know that you gave them all the puzzle pieces they needed, in case they needed to go in and make changes.
Do you do a rehearsal because in this next, there's only 2 more clips, I promise. One more that it's Sandra Oh, the way that she just says mature is hilarious. Is it one of those things where you have a read through of the scene first and you're like, I love how you do that, Sandra. I love how you do that, Justin. Or how does that come about?
Sure. So yes, we do. We do just a basic reading of the scene first to make sure that everybody understands where we are, where we were coming from, where we're going after this, any questions that come up, connecting dots, those kind of things, right? Then I tell my actors, look, I'm going to show you some choreography. And then let's see how it feels on your body, and let me know, if you want to change up anything, right? So then I give the blocking, and they see if it works, if they have their idea. No, I'm not thinking of that at all. Like, that's the time we sit there and figure it out. And then once we have our blocking set, then we call the rest of the team, the crew in to come and watch that rehearsal. And then that way they know like what props are being used, what direction things look like they're going to be in. Then I have my conversation with the director of photography, letting them know, here's where my master is, here's where my coverage is. These are the setups I'm going to do, and then I'm going to turn around and do this. I like to do that nice and loud in the middle of the room with the DP, so that every department head in the room knows what we're going to do, because that informs where they're going to set up, off stage, right? Because if I'm over here and then I'm turning around and now I'm shooting into your stuff, then no, let me stage my stuff over here on the other side, because Chandra has already told us where we're going to be, for this next hour and a half. And then that adds to a smooth flowing day, a smooth flowing scene. Everybody knows what they're doing and what we're doing, and we get it done. I
would imagine, especially with this scene, it's all four of you had basically worked together for a decade. It's like, it must just be like it must have been like a shorthand talking to Sandra and Justin and Ellen, just the four of you.
I guess so, but in a way that we never take it for granted, right? Because we're always discovering, like, human beings change. They're not the same people. And that's, I think, the thing that I've enjoyed the most about the fact that our Grey's journey has been as long as it is that just like any other human being, how we were in 2005 is not how we are, in 2021. And we get to see human beings grow, change, their mindset changes, things that they would do before they don't do now, and vice versa. We saw Bailey go from acting like she was chief of surgery in the pilot to actually becoming it in real time. That's been really exciting to me. So no, I don't feel like we're, necessarily putting on an old pair of shoes anytime, the OGs are together, because we still have to challenge each other. We still have to make it fun. We still have to be like, oh, yay. Okay, good. I'm working with blah, 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 and that's what you want. I want everybody, all of our cast members, all of our crew to feel like, oh, yay, they're here today. We're going to have a great time. And that's what it is, across the board. And you got to work at that. That doesn't just, show up. You got to present that,
All right, here's the clip I was talking about. It's so hilarious what Sandra does and what you allowed to be on the screen.
Will you stop being so insecure? Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I don't respect what you think. I can hold more than one point of view in my mind. I am mature.
That's all Sandra. That's all Sandra. I could never say it like this, but no, that's all her. And that's the great thing about, doing coverage in different sizes, is that you get to find those things. Maybe you didn't find that in the rehearsal, but then for whatever reason, in the middle of the scene, it's something you find. Well, it doesn't have to be lost because you didn't do it in the master. I can, pop into your coverage and I'm still able to, to give that contribution.
Well, of course, all those were funny, except for the one with you and Debbie Allen. But where that's funny, scary. But the end of the episode, crying last night, and just going to show the last 30 seconds. It's so well acted, written, and directed.
He picked you to be his girlfriend, and we're all very happy about that. But he picked me to be his family.
And you walked away from that responsibility the second.
No one said I would be good at it. And he knew that, but he picked me anyway. I'm the family.
Meredith.
Please don't get involved.
But I was right about one thing.
Hi.
I was right about this.
He picked you to...
Yes.
So what shows up to me is the other ongoing character in our show, which is the music. It's been that way since the very first episode. The music plays such a strong, part of our narrative and the emotional journey of a scene and tying an episode all together. And that, as a director in the editing process, I can have some ideas, but we have a really nice music catalog and people send us great things. And for whatever reason, it's always the appropriate thing, the appropriate time, music that gets dropped into our shows.
Who chooses the song?
Our sound editors do that. Yeah. Like, because the writer may have an idea. Our executive producers certainly have great ideas. Usually, our first line editors drop stuff in, the song, I wanted to use it, blah, blah, blah. This would be great for that. So, it could come from quite a few places, but the music really does dictate story, because I've seen notes where our producers have said we need something that's more blah 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 in this moment, and we'll have that somewhere in the catalog.
Well, tell us, you're going to be directing some episodes in this coming season.
Yes, being fully vaccinated, I feel much better about being able to be a part of that process. So yeah, I think I'm directing the 3rd episode so far this season. We had thought, like every place else, we were going to be able to kind of pull back on the protocols a little, because we were like one of the strictest protocol shows out there last season. But hey, here we are. So we're doing a lot of what we did last season, but just with just a little sigh of relief. Being vaccinated really does give you a little sigh of relief, knowing that even if you do end up sick, you're not going to die, you're not going to be in the hospital. So I certainly appreciate you saying that. And I just want to shout out my Aunt Carol. I just got off the phone with her. She lives in Atlanta. We've basically been on the phone since March talking about the vaccine, and she certainly didn't want to and kind of hates it. But today she went into Walgreens and she got that first shot. She did it on her own. We talk like every week. And it's not like, you got to go get it. It was always about telling facts. And well, I heard a story about, okay, that was the story. Here's the fact. And just it takes patience. It takes meeting people where they are. It takes truth. Oh my God, it takes so much truth. And at a certain point, it just takes kind of common sense and wanting to not only take care of yourself, but take care of the people around you. And I'm all for this whole thing where we are about it becoming a requirement, because we never asked what was in the measles vaccine. We never asked what was in polio vaccine. We never asked about the tib or the hib or any of those. We don't even know what's in them, but we go, oh yeah, I got to go take it. And, when you go to school and they say, you got to go get your TB skin test, you just go get it. You don't go, but what's in it? And I hate that we've gone through what we've gone through in the last year and since the vaccines have come out, because it seems so unnecessary when something has so much common sense. And not to be disrespectful, people have their convictions, and if you're not going to, you're not going to, but there's no reason, at this point, there's no reason not for us all to be on the same page, helping each other out globally, right? So that globally we can all move forward together and move forward in good health. So I just want to congratulate my aunt, because I was too scared to do it on the phone, because I didn't want to, I was trying not to make a big deal of it, but it's such a big deal.
It is a big deal.
She's 61 years old, and I'm like, oh, you did? You went? Oh, okay. How was it? But I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And I know she's scared, and she's like waiting. She's waiting to see, like, am I going to get tired? Am I going to get a headache? Like, she's like waiting to see what's going to happen today. And she's going to be fine.
She's going to live is what she's going to do.
I mean, we just came back from Austin 2 weeks ago. Seth had a gig there, and they're at stage 5, and I think they only, for that 6 counties that are around Travis County, including Travis County, I think there's maybe 10 ICU beds available. I mean, it's scary.
I don't understand denial. Like, where I'm so confused about it. I'm so confused about, like, psyche in general. It's fascinating. There's going to be so many books about this going forward. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to us? I'm just so ready for us to get to our collective, wait a minute. At least, we're American, we're taking care of ourselves. That'll help us take care of the whole world. We're going to forge forward on fact and truth, and, we're going to take care of each other. I feel like that's going to come. That day is coming. And I just can't wait to see it, because I don't want to be in this place, anymore with all this distrust. And I just, it's not good. It's not good.
We got a couple of donations that were forwarded. Could you go to the private chat and read them? And of course, you can still donate at starsinthehouse.com. But go ahead and read those.
Yeah, let me put on my spectacles. All righty. So we got, hi, my name is Ashley Kirby, and I made a $50 donation toward tonight's show. I can't wait to watch. Thank you. Grace, blah, 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 continues to be a comfort during a personal crisis right now. Big hugs and immense gratitude for all your years of comfort. Love, a very grateful special education teacher. Yay. Kate donated $50. Thank you for saying that, Kate. We, last year, I felt like it was our year of, like COVID was number one on the call sheet for us last year. And it was about being honest and honoring this journey, and that everybody was going to have a different opinion. Everybody was going to come from a different place. And it wasn't about judging it. It was just about showing it and providing comfort where we could, and giving people permission to cry if they needed to, or mourn if they needed to, or see themselves. And I feel like we accomplished that. Wait till you get there, Seth and James. Last year, I feel like we accomplished that. And Grace is like comfort food for a lot of our viewers. And it's just an honor to be in that position, to give people, almost 400 episodes to binge on if that's what they want to do. It's just a really honorable position to be in. I'm proud of the work that we do, and I'm so happy that I've been able to be a part of this process.
Okay, before we show, we are too, by the way. Thank you. Before we show the encore, not that anyone wants to talk about your life after Grey's Anatomy, but after all that talk about directing, after Grey's Anatomy, which will happen at some point, do you see yourself directing, acting, doing both? Like, what do you see yourself doing career-wise? Look at
I always like to say I'm living the icing on the cake, right? My goal when I came to New York was to graduate from NYU and get a chance to do a show on Broadway. Did those, right? So everything else after that is icing on the cake. Like I said, I never thought of myself as being a dramatic series television director, and here I am about to do my 23rd, I think, episode of Grey's Anatomy. I direct over on Good Trouble when I get a chance. The Fosters, I did a Scandal. I usually always have directors that shadow me when I'm directing, so that they can then, go forward and do their thing. So yes, directing's there. I'm an actor first. I love the opportunity to bring writers' visions to life. I love that. So I'm certainly looking forward to, people seeing me in a different way, writers seeing me in a different way, directors saying, we should call Chandra Wilson in for that. That's exciting. But to know that I have this other thing opened up to me to be able to tell a story in a way that I see it in my head, that's also really exciting as well. So I am open to what the universe is going to bring that has my name on it, that says, yeah, we want Chandra Wilson to do that.
Yes. All right. I love that. All right, Chandra, thank you so much for, I told her 10 minutes and look what time it is, but I appreciate it because I loved it.
Thank you. It's been a really exciting journey so far, right? It's like we have to see, what else is going to come. But yeah, directing has been another one of those little pieces of icing on the cake. That's a surprise. And I do, feel like I'm good at it. I love the contribution. And, we have a good time on the floor. And, that's my story.
All right. I love it. All right, David, take it away. Let's bring on Chandra Wilson as she's laughing up. Let's bring her on first. Chandra Wilson.
Dr. Bailey.
Hi, Dr. Bailey.
You all entertain the mess out of me. Let me tell you. I think maybe Miranda Bailey needs to try this broccoli thing that you were just talking about. I haven't done that yet in any of my storylines.
They need to put it in a ball for you and then throw it, and then you'll chase it.
Oh my God.
It'll keep you active.
Good goodness.
What I say.
All right, let's bring on some of your co-stars here.
Yes,
let's start with Jim Pickens. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you? I'm good. Glad to be here. Chandra, love you. All right, darling. Glad to be here, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, good. And let's bring on Kevin McKidd. Kevin.
Hey, hi guys.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Kevin, are you 8 feet tall and that's like the ceiling right back of your head? Who is that?
No, this is my headboard.
You're laying down in bed. I love it. Snuggle up.
I'm sitting in bed.
Well,
the thing on pajamas.
This is my nightmare.
I almost sat in bed and then I was like, well, maybe I better not. And I have my dog behind me. I might, I don't know if I want to try the broccoli thing. I'm not sure what the after effects of broccoli does.
Oh yeah, that part's a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to take your dog out a lot, Kim. A lot. All right, let's bring on Kelly McCreary. Hi, Kelly.
Hey.
Yay!
Hi. Oh my God, you guys, I can't hear anything.
We'll help you. All right, you know what? We're going to take
everything until you brought me on. Like right when Kim started talking, I was like, no sound, barely any movement. So I'm going to reload the page. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you'll be right back. Yeah, she knows what to do.
Oh my gosh, this is like a French farce.
Right, without the comedy.
Well, we're waiting for Kelly. Let's bring on Anthony Hill.
Hey.
Kelly works here.
Okay, Kelly's coming back.
Kelly, can you hear him?
You there now?
That was typical, classic McCreary. Totally. The moment I'm supposed to be on camera.
Yay. Anthony, is this your publicity debut with the Grays folks?
With all you guys, yeah. I mean, me and Kelly did some stuff, but for everybody else, this is it.
Yeah. First group outing. Welcome.
Because Anthony, have you filmed more episodes like in the pandemic than before the pandemic?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I only did one before the pandemic, and that was like November of 2019. It was a standalone. Yeah. So it was a long time ago. And then everything shut down. And then everything else has been since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, we're constantly binging your episodes. When was the last time you guys all saw each other? Because we feel like we just saw you a minute ago.
It was well right before we broke for the holidays. What was it?
November, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last time we saw each other in person. Although we did just have a cast Zoom today. So this,
yes.
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
Back again.
But I never can see anybody on the calls. It's weird because there's so many boxes that I can't tell who. I just can't.
Yeah, weirdly, this setting is more intimate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. We've got like 40 boxes on us.
So, Chandra, we should start with you because you're the one responsible for all this.
Oh my.
Go.
Well, because we've been talking, for a minute about trying to figure out when's the right time, how, let's get things together. And then you guys also contact me about the elections. I don't know if you guys didn't know this. At first, we were going to try to get together and do something for Georgia, right? And like talk as a cast, but stuff goes back and forth and publicity and blah, 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 blah. And so the next thing you know, we're in December. And then I thought about the Actors Fund and the fact that a lot of people were going to start losing their jobs at the end of December. And are getting furloughed or our industry, and it seems like we're getting further and further away from theater being able to come back full time. We're looking at May, but that could be June, that could be July. Dancers aren't working at all right now. Anybody in concert, anybody on tour, and so that's why I reached out to my lovely cast to see if they wouldn't mind joining me on this venture, because you guys crack me up, Seth and James, and I figured that this would be, something fun for us to do. Make sure that people know that the Actors Fund is not just for actors; it's for everyone in our industry. And this would be the third time that our cast, as a whole, over all the seasons, has been able to do something for the Actors Fund. So, maybe that was it. Maybe that was the reason why you all jumped on, is because you heard the Actors Fund. But
you also, Chandra, you have an Actors Fund personal story.
Yeah, I went to them the first time in 1996 in New York when I was facing one of those many eviction notices that you face in New York. And Equity told me that Actors Fund was a place to go to, and they were right there for me to get me through that. Actually, I think it was 1995. And I said, one of these days when something really great happens with my career, I want to make sure to pay back that money, and I want to be able to do some significant work, because I know that I'm not the only one that's been in that position. And about a year ago, I joined the Western Council to be able to kind of brainstorm and come up with some ideas. And that was even before COVID. So they've done some amazing things since COVID. They were right there from the minute the industry shut down. They've given out about $15 million or so dollars.
I think it's like up to 18. I don't have it right in front of me. It's a lot.
Crazy town, and they're still there. So you just go to actorsfund.org, and I think we're on the second round of folks now. So anyway, so that's why I'm here. That's why they're important to me, and I know that they're important across the industry.
Oh my gosh. Well,
and that's so, I mean, for the audience to understand too, like that's such an incredible story, because I think for artists, that's such a pivotal moment. I mean, so many artists, it's whether you stay in the industry or you can't afford to stay in the industry because you can't pay your rent and you end up going, back home. So that to have that Actors Fund support, and also all artists is just really a major touchstone for keeping artists in the artistry until they have a moment,
And not just with money, with counseling, with people that are going through career changes, with people that need help with bread and butter gigs, in between while you're waiting for your Grey's Anatomy to show up. For
legal assistance in some cases.
Say that?
They help with legal assistance. You want to set up an LLC, get business guidance. It's a tremendous resource, but especially now when even people's survival jobs aren't available to them anymore. If you worked in the restaurant industry as your backup job, but that's not available. So it's so important to make the awareness of the Actors Fund, and to elevate the awareness of it and let people know that it's there for you now and always.
Okay, we need to have all of you on the show every time. I've never heard that spoken of more eloquently, and the need for it. It's true.
Oh my God, we suck.
Oh my God. We have so many questions, and there were so many the fan questions. I don't know how many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So
oh my God, I was like, don't tag me. My Twitter is so many questions.
So I sent them to Kendall Wright. Shout out to Kendall Wright and Shonda Land. And
Kendall,
Kendall.
Kendall.
In the background of Shonda's little news piece there.
He was hanging to the right. I saw him.
Yeah, he was trying to be incognito there.
So let's just go right into the fan questions. What do you think, Seth? Because we also have some fun clips, all from this season. Well, almost, except for one, but that's for Chris later on. So I say, let's do it. So Jim, you're up first.
Yes, sir.
So this is from Alice. And Alice says,
no last name.
Yeah, no.
AA style.
Hey, Alice doesn't live here anymore. There you go. Yes.
Exactly. Jim, how is it to work on this show from the very beginning?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It obviously it's been a game changer. To most actors will go their whole careers and never experience what I experienced here working on this show. I was a working actor in New York for many years. I had a great career, and then decided to come out to LA, and the career continued that way. But at 50 years of age, I got this show. When around that time, actors are starting to kind of see the horizon of their careers, for lack of a better term. But this came along, and it changed my life. It's been an amazing ride. Worked with some amazing people. Obviously, the show speaks for itself in terms of what it's done, both culturally and in terms of how we see the landscape of television. And to be right there at the kind of the birth of this, and then how it's changed, it changed the way we look at casting, how we look at inclusion. I think to be a part of that, I've been really humbled and very proud of it. It's been a blast. Every day I go to work thankful and grateful that I can do this, and it's always exciting. I've never been bored. Say, I'm about ready to do something else. It's been really cool.
Well, I found this great clip. Speaking of someone who's been there from the very beginning, also you and Chandra. So this great clip I love between the two of you. It's about 30 seconds. I'm going to play it right now.
I will find no peace if I have to leave it.
You are going to give me a second heart attack. You know that.
Barry, you know I gotta tell you that this place couldn't ask for a better chief. I'm in awe. Even though I taught you most of it.
No.
Oh.
All of my profanity got cut out at the end. I think I called you a couple of names.
Yes, she did. She still loved me though. She still loves me.
And love me. Yes, yes.
Hey, Kelly,
our relationship, right? Like
right.
from the beginning, just
yeah.
you just can't mess it up. You know,
Right.
it's tight.
Yeah.
It's mentor, it's family, it's competitive. I love that it's still so competitive, right?
Yeah.
And we get on each other's nerves, but
Right. We're like an old married couple with scrubs on, you know.
Yeah.
Funny. Hey, Kelly, I think David sent you some donations. You want to read the first?
Yes. Yeah,
Love
let me read them. Okay. All right. We've got William from New York City has donated $103.
Hey.
Oh, we've got a Katarina donated $25. We've got Rhonda. Yes, let's give him a round of applause. Yes. We got Rhonda from San Francisco donating $50. And we've got, yes, Rhonda. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, Rhonda.
We're digging deep tonight, and we really appreciate it. Bella from Connecticut has offered $5. Thank you, Bella.
Thank you, Bella.
And Claire from Wisconsin, my home state, has donated $10.
Oh,
Thank you. Claire.
Thank you, Wisconsin.
And one more, Joy from Flushing, Queens, I assume, has donated $25. And she is saying that Grey's Anatomy is my favorite TV show. I'm currently rewatching for the 8th time.
Oh
I hope one day they make a musical out of the show. That would be a long musical. A long musical.
That's so amazing to me that people watch us that way. It's just the craziest evolution that we've made over, all these years. I can't imagine watching a show over and over again, and people do it. And I mean, we've found new audiences right here in the doggone pandemic where people hadn't seen it before and just decided to start. It's an amazing little monster that we have. I tell you that.
Yeah. It's like comfort food.
It is.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Very much so.
Well, except for when they're horrific deaths of your favorite characters, then it's not so comforting. But
That's what I'm saying, but they come alive again because people start over from the beginning. I'm going to show these nails a lot, by the way.
I was looking at those the other day. I was looking, got a little swag going on here. I say, look at
I was
you.
going to text you, but I didn't want to distract you, and I was like, wow, they're gorgeous.
People start over and over again so much. It's like they're finding all of our dead characters,
She's like talking like this over and over.
And they all show up.
Cool.
See, they all show up on the beach eventually with Ellen Pompeo, so it kind of works out.
Yes.
Exactly. How great has that been?
How
Another
great
genius
is that?
move by
Oh my
Brooke.
God.
And I love I love that whole LL Bean Gap catalog look they all have, like the white. It's so cute.
It was
We didn't know Kevin had a uniform.
Talking about color schemes for that, and I think that's where they were at LL Bean. It was a pastel kind of, I was like, okay.
Works.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Here, the next question. Let's see. It's actually Kevin or Kim. You can answer because, of course, there were questions about your relationship. But should we play the clip first? Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Set it up with the clip first. Set it up with the clip.
Yes. Yeah. Let's do it with the clip.
Cover your eyes, Kim. It's not pleasant.
Schmidt.
Oh my God.
Schmidt played this for me in the OR on what was supposed to be our wedding day. much for love. So much for friendship. So much for trust. So much for us.
Owen, let me.
No.
Oh my God. Wait, Owen. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Damn.
I know she is really messing up right now. I agree, but we're human. And
Yes,
that's
we are.
what Shonda has always shown our dark side, and hopefully we will show her healing.
Right. And try to understand her, really. Like, I think that's what's really exciting about watching it unfold, is really trying to peel back the onion layers of these characters. I think that's why people watch it 8 times over, because there's a lot there, and we take the time. Fortunately, we've had 17 seasons to do it. It takes time to really get to know these people.
But Kim, I get yelled at for bringing my phone to like a stupid vocal rehearsal. Why is your phone in the operating room? I mean, honestly, if you didn't have it with you.
It wasn't in the operating room. My phone was recording and it was somewhere else. I mean, let me just tell you, at the table read, when I came up, I was like, can I get under the table? And I had to make those noises over and over. And then when we were doing that scene again, when we came back, they play things back like on playback. Like if you're doing a music video, they've got speakers everywhere and they play it at like 100, the highest decibel, right? And so we're about to do this scene and they do playback and they didn't gauge the sound. And it was like at 500 of me or Teddy having that moment. And I was like, no more.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
It's my ringtone.
It's a ringtone.
With that in mind, here's the
Kevin, do you have
question.
anything to say?
Kevin, you get the question. You get the question from Sarah. Do you think that there's still some hope for Teddy and Owen's relationship?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, listen, Teddy and Owen have been through so much, and listen, Owen has not been a saint. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Over the years, let's look at his track record for a minute. So people in glass houses, but yeah, Owen's really hurt, and I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be just. I mean, there's going to be some healing going on, and there's going to be some conversation. But I think Teddy and Owen have been through. They went through war together. They can get through this. I hope, but who knows?
I think the interesting thing is, for me, what's exciting about it is I think, the sort of quintessential Greys of showing the complexity of human beings. And I think the magic of this show is it's not like these perfect people that are doing perfect things all the time. It's that we are flawed. I mean, for me, it's that we're flawed. And she's really stepped into a really bad cycle in her life. And what's kind of going to be so amazing is how she reaches out to the other people in the hospital for her healing. And it's actually, I think, just such an incredible move by the writers and Krista. And it's so controversial, and I know the fans are so upset about it. And I'm upset about it too. I am. But I think that's also is like what Kelly said, is peeling back the onion of why we are who we are, and how do we make better choices and be better.
I hope she doesn't come to Bailey and ask her anything.
Oh, she will.
I would like to see that.
I don't know about that.
But listen, Chandra, I remember when Owen cheated all those years ago, and Owen and Bailey had a scene together when Owen's in his pit of despair and shame. And the quote that Chandra said to him was, she said, what did she say? She said, even though you did a terrible thing, you're not a terrible person. That's what Bailey said to Owen.
She said a whole bunch of other stuff, and then she
I just rewatched that scene the other day. Like Owen was like, "I cheated on Christina." Oh my god! And that's what Bailey. I keep saying Chandra because Bailey and Chandra to me are the two wisest people on the set.
Chandra, do you have more donations to read?
I do. Let's see.
Love it.
Who do we have here? Oh, I have 2 pages. Yay. Okay, so first.
So hold applause so we can get through. We got a lot more questions before our medical. By the way, we didn't say we have a medical break.
We have a medical break.
We have an actual medical break with an actual doctor.
That Chandra Wilson's going to stay on for. But Chandra, go. So we'll hold the applause so we can get to all the questions and clips.
Okay, so some don't say where they're from. Lily gave $25, Mary and Matt $10, Catherine $10, Tim and Emily $25, and then Cheryl from Pennsylvania $50. So excited to have Grey's Anatomy here tonight. I rewatched all the episodes when quarantine started, which was a wonderful way to spend some time. Thank you for 16 plus seasons, and thank you Seth and James for helping us through the past 10 months. Yay. That's page 1.
Yay, thank you.
2 is Di, $15. Elizabeth from New York City, $36. Kira from Pennsylvania, $20. Holly from Connecticut, $20. Tova from New York, $25. And Emily from Boston, $25. Love this. Thanks so much with no hearts, 2 hearts at the end. Yay.
Yay, thanks everyone.
So amazing.
Cool.
So Kelly, you're up next. So this is a question from Barbara. How do you feel being a Black woman watching the latest episodes of Grey's Anatomy and seeing how they're dealing with racism on the show and exploring more of the relationships between Black people? That's from Barbara.
Barbara, thank you for your question. I have to say I feel really good about it because I asked for it. I did talk to the writers. We were all asked about story ideas that we had for the season. I knew that we were going to be living in a COVID world for this season, and I felt very strongly that we couldn't talk about that pandemic without talking about the other pandemic of racism in this country. And the hospital is such an incredible place to explore it because you've got all these high stakes life and death situations coming in every day, every moment of every day in a hospital. And whether we like it or not, race impacts how these people are cared for in the hospital for the better and for the worse. And so as long as we were going to be topical and not be completely escapist this season, I am all for us actually, embracing, wrapping these characters, wrapping our hearts, wrapping our minds around some of the issues and also some of the joys and some of the I love the sisterhood and camaraderie that Maggie and Bailey get to share because of this, because of this shared thing. They're not very similar, but they have this one thing in common that really is it creates a space for a bond. And so I love that we're leaning into all of that in a really direct way this season, I have to say. And I've seen a lot from the fans that they're excited to be engaging with these characters. I think that Maggie and Bailey and all of the Adele, all of the Black women characters we've had on the show, all the characters of color on the show, people are thrilled to see themselves represented through these storylines, to be able to feel even closer to these characters, and so I think that leaning into this experience, it does the same thing for the people in our audience who need that kind of release and need the opportunity to say, yes, that's exactly my story. It's one thing that we haven't done a lot of on the show in the past, and so I'm glad we're giving those audience members a chance to have that.
Well, in this part of the season that just ended, this first 6 episodes, they're pre-George Floyd. too. So I can only imagine what it will be afterward. I don't know. Do you know? Are you allowed to say if the rest of the season is going to be going past into the fall?
I honestly,
we have
you take it away, Chandra.
Chandra.
Never know, but it's kind of what you said pre George Floyd. I was one of the people that was hoping that by the time these episodes aired, we would be talking about something in the past. And it seems like with every episode, it's more relevant and more present and more, you know, and we were pre-vaccine as well when we ended, you know, so it's boy, everything right now is so incredibly fluid. I know we try to pay close attention. We're really not trying to hit anybody over the head with anything. We're just showing what's there. And there is no way that we could be a show that lives in Seattle, Washington at the beginning of the pandemic and not be affected by the pandemic.
Right.
So Grey's had to go there. That's where we had to be.
Kelly, regarding that the question, I love this clip. It's with you and Anthony. It's just a little clip of the scene when you're on the phone. Here we go.
Guys, good to see you. What's wrong?
I don't know how much longer I can do this. 53 people. That's how many have died on my watch since this thing started, 53. And most of them have been Black women, so that means...
The same thing's happening here. Everywhere.
Wow.
Oh, that's heavy.
You're part of the relevance there, Anthony Hill.
Man, it's so important. That was so well said, Kelly. Like, it is crucial right now, and it's so relevant. And I'm happy and I'm honored to be a part of it, to be completely honest.
Our kid is right here.
Speaking of people who've watched the series,
she's 20 and she has
freaking out.
I'm in love with all of you.
So she's going to read a fan question that here, Julie. That's from Claire.
Who breaks character the most? Just a fun little.
Out of all of you,
breaks character the most?
Like laughs or.
Yeah, admit it. You're not also serious on the set. Go.
Who breaks character the most? Wow, that's a good question. Wow,
I don't know if I break character, but I can't remember my lines, and I will look at the camera and go, "Oh, we going to."
I don't know.
If I get really tired, I can go into like a lot. I start getting the giggles, and I can. I mean, like when Henry was sort of on the verge of dying, it was like a Friday night, and like the crew really wants to go home, and it was like one of the straw, and I'm passing the straw, and it's almost like an exhaustion relief, but I can get the giggle. We can all get the giggles pretty good. Oh yeah.
We'll put it on you, Kim,
lose
for
it a
now.
few times, Kim.
Oh my God!
We've had quite a lot of scenes where the two of us just set each other off, and then that's it. Like, you know, and then the crew are all like, "Come on, guys, can you just
oh my God.
get together?"
And the more they want you to like pull it together, it's like the more it's almost like you can't. Then you're like doing a scene, and you like can't look at the other. I remember we were also chasing someone in the hallway. We're trying to find someone in the hallway, a patient who had disappeared. It was me, Katerina, and you. And like we couldn't.
It was
We're talkers. Like we talk between, especially now because we never get to say anything to each other. You know, we're kind of moving around,
isolated.
We'll get into a real good conversation, and the bell will go off, and the thing will clap, and we're still together. And action. And so, and then
it's so true.
Debbie, I don't know how to like, get us disconnected. Like we're two. Like, oh, so then what happened? Oh, how's your kid doing? And she's like, okay.
Hey, time to work now.
No.
You're sad. You're sad.
Well, believe it or not, we're coming to the end of our section.
Oh, no.
I know, but
too quick. It's over too quick.
I know it went over it, but you know what? Before we go, Jim, the clip I did two back to back because for YouTube purposes. Thank you, Julie. Julie's going to come back for the second half for another fan question. is that the speech that you give to the interns was so moving. It's so well written, directed, and acted. I felt like before we go into our medical segment with Chandra and Dr. LaPook, I wanted to show it because I don't know, and I'd love you just to talk about it afterward. But let me play it first, and it's divided into two.
When you decided to go to med school, you had dreams of a career. I know this isn't it. It's not mine either. I want to be in an OR. I want to be cutting. I want to hold my patient's hand, skin to skin. I want to meet their loved ones. I want to be in the before. But the before is gone. We're in the now, and people are looking to us to guide them through it. We will. I'll teach you the jobs that need to get done. I will make sure that you learn as much as you can. And we'll be okay. We'll get through this together.
Makes me cry. It's so good. it's what we all need to hear right now.
Yeah. Yes. It was so apropos, and it's kind of a fast forward from our pilot when he addresses the interns for the first time there, and I think and reading it and saying how I wanted to do it, I want to do it in a way that wasn't sentimental, but spoke to the moment and spoke to where we are right now in the Grays world, but also in the world outside of Grays. And I was happy to be a part of that. There was a powerful way to introduce this next move that we're about to go into.
And Seth, you had a question.
I directed that episode.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Kevin directed
that episode. And I remember seeing Jim deliver that speech, and I was like, whoa. Like, I just thought Jim delivered it so beautifully. And then,
wait a minute, Kevin, you directed it? I didn't know.
He directed
that
that.
scene with Kelly. That was the same episode I directed.
I wasn't trying to kiss up either. I really liked it. It was really well directed. It was great.
He left.
We lost him. That was
awesome.
He was overcome with yes.
Well, it's that very British thing where you don't want to take any compliments. You're like, I can't handle it.
It's so immediate. But Seth, I have a question for Jim, though, about the interns.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, are these interns going to be the next, are we going to see them for the next 17 years? What's the deal?
Well, we don't know yet. You never know with our show, but we have them right now, and we'll see how it turns out. But they're wonderful actors and actresses, and we're looking forward to working with them some more.
Well,
our cycle continues.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we lost.
I want to show one thing.
You want to show one thing?
I was going to show you guys you guys are Peter Gallagher, the amazing movie actor.
Oh, sure. We know Peter. Yeah.
And his daughter is Catherine Gallagher, who's in Jagged Little Pill. And she wrote me a fan letter about. She's like, I'm so obsessed with Grey's Anatomy. She had a Secret Santa during Jagged Little Pill, and this is what the Secret Santa got her, and she's like her favorite possession now. That's her.
Oh. I love
it. She's watching right now.
Very cool.
Thank you all, and tell Kevin thank you, even though we lost him. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, kudos. Keep doing what you're doing, Seth and James. Thank you for your commitment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys. Keep those donations coming.
Thank you, Dawn. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
Thank you, Anthony.
Bye, Kelly. You had a game night, Kelly.
Yeah.
And thank you. Oh, I lost. There we go.
There's
Chandra.
Hey.
Hey,
girl.
Can you believe those donations?
I wanted to tell you. Yeah. I've got here.
More?
Yep.
Oh, hold on, Chandra. Kevin, poor Kevin. You were trying to get into the studio.
Sorry, my son called me and so it kicked me out of the call.
Working from home. Yeah.
What I was saying was, I promise I wasn't kissing up. It was just looking for a job. It was really well directed.
Thank you. The point I was going to say real quick was when I heard Jim speak that speech, and then in editing, because he did it so beautifully. Originally, the script, it didn't say that we went to, we ping-ponged around like Kelly's character and Ellen and all the people, but then that gave me the idea that his emotionality in that scene to add that that kind of montage of checking in with all the doctors. So
It
I was
pertains
really
to
proud of
everybody.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
She's got one of our directing stars over there that we've birthed.
Anyway, so thank you so much. Are you going to the next group?
Well, Chandra's going to read some more donations, and then we're going to bring on Dr. LaPook with her, and then we're going to bring on the second. Well, okay. Chandra, you're just going to have to invite her. You're going to have to do this part 2 at some point.
We should do it again because this has been so much fun. I'll do it anytime. Anytime you want to invite us, we'll be there.
That's so nice. And Kevin, you're all ready for bed, so you just go to sleep. And we'll...
got the bunk bed right there. Bye, Kevin. Bye. Chandra, you must have so much fun with this cast.
I do. Because, I mean, our family is always big, and we're such an eclectic kind of group of, nobody's like anybody else. So it's a treat. It just continues to be a treat.
Chandra, let's bring on your other
yes
that are here waiting. Thank you, everyone, for waiting so patiently. We had to get on our medical break. So let's bring on Camilla Luddington. Let's bring her on first. Camilla, hi.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
If that's possible, Camilla, yeah.
I can do it. I have something that I'm organizing right now for the fans. I think they're going to lose their minds over.
Oh, I love that. Okay, let's
go
on.
Going to join us, guys, and you're welcome.
All right, I love it. Thank you, Camilla. Camilla, you work on that.
Texting.
We're gonna. Okay, you know what, Camilla? You do that in private. If you want to do it in private, or do you want to?
No. I'm just texting the link so that this person can.
Sounds good. All right, let's bring on Richard Flood. Richard. Hi, Richard.
How's it going?
Oh,
good.
Dream team is here.
Hang on.
Wait, Richard, you also have, is that Kevin's bed behind you?
He's just in the bathroom, but don't worry about it. He'll stay in there. He'll stay in there.
All right, Greg Germann. Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hi, you guys.
How you doing?
Very good.
Welcome.
Sorry, guys.
All right, that's all right. Camilla, you keep doing. We got so many people. We got things
surprise
to do.
with someone.
Richard Flood has my bed in his house too. We all sleep over at Richard's house.
So fun.
That kind of house,
All right, what about Chris Carmack? Let's ask him. Where are you staying, Chris?
I'm over at Richard's house, but we're in separate rooms right now.
Oh,
we need occasional privacy.
Are you guys in a fight?
No, it's just mental health during COVID. You got to find your separate quarters, right, Richard?
Yeah, he's in the same room. It's infuriating. That's what happened.
All right, and last but not least, Jake McCreary. Hi, Jake.
Hello. How's it going?
Here he is.
Jake, what's that pretty painting behind you?
Oh, thank you. It's a Jake original because I didn't have anything on my wall, so I was just like, let's make it pink.
Can you make me one? I want one.
Done. I'll make you all some favorite color.
One in the loft for us, Jake.
Did that become like your Zoom art for all of the Zoom calls? And
really, it's behind me on anything that I do ever. So yeah.
So nice.
Magnificent jacket.
So thank you guys for being here. Yay.
Well, and Chandra, I think Chris already has donations. Do you, Chris?
Do ya?
Oh, yeah. You want me to just read them off here?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
All right, sure. The good news is there's a lot of them, so that's a good thing. We've got Christine from NYC gave $10. Christina from Las Vegas $20. Nairuba from Kansas City $41. Amanda from Pennsylvania $20. Lucy from Glasgow, Scotland $20. Says Kevin, would you ever come back and do some acting in the UK? I guess
he would.
He's not with us. Yes, the answer is yes.
I thought he's in the other room. Just go ask him.
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
He's way back. He's having a great time.
Yes, of course I would. Hear that? Answer is yes. Emily from New York, $15. Maeve from New York, $5. Isabel from Boston, $10. Kelsey from Massachusetts, $50. Caitlin from Idaho, $5, and says, big thank you to all the amazing cast members. I love all of you, and you have saved my life. I'm only 15, and I am so grateful for you. I'm rewatching Grey's for the eighth time with my younger sister, and she's loving it too.
Wow.
There's more, but wait.
Oh my God, Chris.
Gianna, $5. Danica, $10. Maddie from Michigan, $25. John in Plano, Texas, $103. Says,
Wow.
Seth and James, thank you for all you do. I've been a viewer and donor since last March. The goal needs to be $1 million by your 1-year anniversary. March 16th. We can do it.
Absolutely.
And Marley from Alabama, last but not least, $10, says, Grey's Anatomy has been a part of my life since I was 6 years old, and I'm now 21 years old. It has shaped me and taught me and given me hope for so many years. Thank you.
God, thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Beautiful batch of donations and things to say. Thank you, everybody out there who did that.
Chandra, to your point about the show, especially this season, not hitting people over the head with messages, but doing it in a Grey's way, which is smart and funny. And there were 2 clips I want to show because they involve, I think, most of you here. I'm just going to show them because they speak for themselves, and especially
they get a point across, but in a sassy way.
Yeah, especially this one. Jake gets his line in with you, Chandra, at the end of it. Hold on.
You have my word as chief that all of your children are receiving the best possible care. Well, we just need you to bear with us a little while longer.
Excuse me, Aaron Morris, any word on Frankie?
Which one is Frankie?
He's immunocompromised. He got a kidney donation for polycystic kidney disease just 2 months ago. He's high risk for COVID. Then why was he at a party?
Exactly.
Sassy.
Bailey's been a little abusive over the years. I should probably cut back on the, but she just.
I've learned a lot. It's good.
I don't even think I asked you if that was okay, Jake. I think
it's always okay.
One of these days.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like something's being said that we all think, you know, and that's what's great about Grey's Anatomy is that there's between all of you characters, all of you are different parts of our brain saying or doing things, whether we should be doing them or not.
Yeah.
Hold on, Seth. We're gonna show the other clip because this one is Camilla and Chris, which is really short, but I love it.
Excuse me, ma'am. Despite what you may read or hear in the news, sunlight does not, in fact, kill COVID-19.
It's so smart. It's just like you're getting the message across without like that. And then it's just like on the rest of the story.
We have to say them, right? We say the things out loud. We say the things, like you said, that people are thinking. It's not even a judgment thing. It's just what's out there. You know, we understand the responsibility of our show that sometimes people listen to us more than they listen to officials or, you know, people that should know things. So it's really we jump in 100% without judgment, right? There's really no reason to say, I don't know if I would say that, because you just don't have the slightest idea, you know, when you're in these kind of situations, how you're going to feel or how you're going to react. So I appreciate the messier, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question that's for any of you is, do you think, because you had a long hiatus, right? Like from March to September. So it was like, what was that, 6 months or something?
Yeah, it was a long one for us. Yeah.
And so obviously all of you, like all of us, watched, lived what was going on COVID-19 wise. Did it affect or change your, I don't know, the way you looked at your characters or anything like that? Anyone can pop in.
Anyone. I'll start us off. Like we said a little bit in the last segment, we got the opportunity to talk with the writers a little bit before we came in. And it was less about storyline, but more about where are you? How are you feeling, right? Like what are you there's no way to get through this time and not be fundamentally changed in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Being, isolated a lot, sometimes you miss that opportunity to talk, just to say, and in the act of speaking and saying and talking to the writers, hopefully, that was giving them ideas. But again, it's a place where we were able to talk about things that maybe, somebody hadn't thought about before. So, without understanding what our season was going to be, right? We knew we had to address COVID. Just the relevance of our storytelling has been absolutely amazing. But the number one priority for all of us, though, is to be safe. And it was about how do we have the opportunity to come out, tell these stories, be able to give this content and make sure that we're taking really good care of ourselves, as a whole. And I guess you guys can talk. Do you feel safe when you come to work?
What? I was going to ask you that, because we're not just talking about temperature checks that y'all do. I mean, how is it different now versus a year ago when you were reporting to set?
It's so different. There's no like knocking on each other's trailer doors and being like, hey, what's going? Like, there's none of that. It's kind of more isolating, I guess. We're not chit chat and stuff like that. It's just different. There's a lot to. I really think that we're on the best show ever for this, though, because we get to be in PPE.
Yeah,
like we're on the safest show possibly, like on the air right now.
Yes.
So, but I don't know. How do you guys feel?
We get to live. We're living when everyone else is living. But we're also, when we go to work, we get a chance to kind of express it and dramatize it. It's kind of one of the reasons you become an actor. You want to express what's going on in your life, and this show, even without COVID, gives us an opportunity to do that. But at this moment, it's expanded exponentially. We come to work every day, and we're really telling these stories that are happening to us or the people that we know, and that's a gift. And wait a minute, Camilla's never knocked on my trailer door, and I'm a little upset about that. But you can.
You were out.
Still knock on my trailer door. They let me on the lot now, and
I will knock next time for sure.
I'm so excited to have Greg Germann on our show. Just being a fan of you for forever, and then so I've kind of blocked that out and don't like show it when we're at work. But I'm like, it's kind of hard sometimes. I like pinch myself.
Oh, really? Is this private? Is anyone else seeing this?
Yeah.
Recorded so I can take it home.
It's that connection. Hey, listen, by the way, I know you guys, the show takes place in Seattle, but you guys live in Los Angeles. But one of our favorite places is, of course, Arizona. I love Arizona. What?
Hey. What? Hi, my baby.
Hello.
Wait, I think you're muted. Hold
Jessica,
on.
you got to unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
This is what happens with
Join.
support.
Join. Hi,
Jessica.
Hi. A drive-by with Capshaw.
I know.
How are you, Jessica?
We can't hear us.
Jessica, go
Okay,
off.
now I can.
Back on.
Yay! Hi! Hi! I heard you guys are raising some money for some stuff. So I
Sure. Basically.
We are. For the
Oh my God, everyone loves you. There's a lot of love you, Jessica. Everyone's like having a breakdown everywhere. Oh my God.
I was like texting her as I was like waiting to come into the session. I was like, Jessica, like you're all over the comment section. She's like, should I join? I'm like, yes, you need to join.
I feel like I'm freaking out right now as much as the fans are. I miss you so much, Jessica.
I'm in Atlanta and I just got home from work and I literally I got Camilla's text and I was like, I'm a coming. And Greg, I feel like Camilla has knocked on your trailer door. Are you just not wanting to?
Yeah, you're like, exactly. Thanks, Jessica.
That was sort of like one of those things that are in plain sight. Like she served it up. She said,
I see. I don't answer. I don't ever answer.
Oh my God, yeah.
I know, but I don't have a fancy ring light like Camilla. Camilla, you're really well.
Thanks. Very
Yeah, you are the best bit of all of us, I think.
Turn your phone to the side, and it'll take up the whole screen if you turn your phone.
7 ring lights on me, guys.
It works.
And now
Oh,
it should.
that did not work.
No, no, keep it there.
Hi guys.
Gorgeous.
I don't. But there's people I don't know. I don't know you, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Jessica. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed your work over the years, but I unfortunately we were ships passing.
Oh, thank you. Well, how are you guys having fun? What are you doing?
So we're here ultimately benefiting the Actors Fund, right? We've done 2 fundraisers for them in the past. You were right there with us for that, just to make sure that people, our industry, our actors, our theater actors, our Broadway actors, our regional actors, our dancers, our tours,
people behind the scenes,
performers, all our behind the scenes, all our stage hands. It's going to be a minute, and even in television and film, a lot of people have lost jobs, right, as of the end of the year. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that the Actors Fund is there, right? It's a resource to go to, not only for financial help, but for all kinds of things, right? There on actorsfund.org, you'll see. And if anybody is in a position where they can donate, please do. Because there's absolutely nothing you can do when you can't go to work. So we just want to make sure that we continue to take care of our community as a whole. So thank you so much for coming and joining.
Oh my God. The best. I feel like I have been a supporter for a very long time, and I've always been amazed by the far-reaching ways in which help can be there.
Yes.
They're right there with finances. And Chandra, you have more donations to read.
I do. Look. Okay, here's the thing. So 1 and 2. Where did I leave? Great thing. Yeah, I left off with last one. There's lots of pages here. Okay, so here we go. Blow it up so I can see with my glasses. Okay. Naruba from Kansas City, $41. Elise from Queens, $15. Lulu from New York, $25. Marie, Becca, and Amy, $25. And Amanda from Connecticut, $25. Shout out to Kim Raver. She says, I've loved you ever since your time on Third Watch. Shout out to Third Watch. I had a part on that too. That was a great one-day check for me. I love it. And you have been a role model to me as a woman in medicine, so much so that I am now a second-year medical student with an interest in cardiac surgery. Yay, I love hearing that. And then lastly, I have Ashley from Pennsylvania, $50. Drita, $8. I don't want to mess you up, from New Jersey, $25. Radhini from New Jersey, $25. Amanda from Connecticut, thank you for all for showcasing and being role models for women in medicine. I really take to heart Dr. Bailey's attitude, and being in my second year of medical school, I aspire to be Dr. Bailey in my career. We'd love to hear that. And then Denise and Stacy from Tennessee, $40. Thank you for your laughter, tears, heart-wrenching stories, and for keeping me and my wife entertained during the pandemic. If I told you the amount of times we have rewatched the seasons, you might send help. It's in the high 20s.
Oh my gosh, that's a record tonight.
That's all good.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's so lovely.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys, thank you.
So Camilla and Jake, I love that you two are roomies, and you've got your pod there.
Well, by the way, it's very much like, since like Will and Grace went off the air, this is like my new Will and Grace that gets to watch.
I love that. Thanks.
That's a great analogy. And this clip that I pulled is like the perfect 30 seconds that for both of you and your friendship to Seth's point. I'm going to play it right now.
Why?
Oh my God, you're back together.
Kind of. Taryn said the Netherlands suggested people find a designated sex partner for the pandemic.
You're having sex with Nico because the Dutch government recommends it?
Their country ranks very high on the World Happiness Index.
He lied, don't you? He rarely gives you the time
Okay,
of day.
stop judging. It's wartime, but I still have needs.
It's very important. You need a sex pod during the pandemic. It's very important.
I love it. It's the issues that we're all facing. Right?
Grey's Anatomy has a lot of messages.
Yes, my favorite part about that scene too is if you zoom in on Levi's bike, there's an HRC sticker, human rights campaign, and I love that.
Yeah,
we love HRC.
I love it. So Camilla, there's a question for you from Elizabeth, who simply asks, "What's next for Joe Wilson?"
Hopefully more sex pod sex, which is very important. With Jackson Avery. You know what? It's already been teased, but she is thinking about changing to being an OB.
Yeah.
So that is like going to be a really big storyline for her. And I'm excited. I'm ready for my pink scrubs whenever they want to put them on me.
No, you're not.
And maybe Capshaw can come back and just.
You're never ready for the pink scrubs.
You like them?
And the big peeps, Chandra. The peeps.
Oh yeah, the big peeps.
And the big peeps.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was on my way to pink.
The gowns, the trauma gowns we wear. We look like big peeps.
I actually remember investing time on trying to make that look flattering.
There's no point.
You wanted to tuck them a little and give them some darts.
Tuck.
There's work for
stapled in the back.
Someone holding it.
Those hospital outfits are very revealing. I would have to wear like 2 pairs of Spanx if I was ever on that show.
I've done that too.
So, Jake, there's a question here from Sophia. I love this question. If you could pitch any episode idea to Krista Burnoff, she's the showrunner, right, Krista?
Yes.
What would it be? If you could pitch any episode idea or character, arc for you, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I always pitch going to Capitol Hill and hanging out with a bunch of drag queens in Seattle, like all the queer people from Grey's and Station 19 just going out and like having fun. I mean, obviously we can't do that now, but maybe once everybody's vaccinated, we can all go to Capitol Hill again. That would be fun.
I love Capitol Hill in Seattle.
And bring Grace. I mean, bring Joe.
Yeah, oh my God, Joe would be my chaperone. I'd be like, Joe, can you drive me to Capitol Hill? Thank you.
No, we're Ubering. I'm doing it.
Oh my gosh.
That's fun.
Also, Jake, I'm just wondering, do you feel like a kind of pressure being like a gay Jewish character? Do you feel like you are a role model for gay Jewish hosts of live streams?
I definitely feel the pressure because I know I know firsthand what representation means, and so that's certainly not lost on me. And I feel like it's such a gift every day to be able to tell these stories for sure.
Yeah, oh, that's nice. I applaud it.
So, Chris, you're up next. Okay, let's see.
All these fan questions to organize.
Okay.
And Jessica, you weren't even supposed to be here. You already have a fan question.
I know. I actually just side texted Chandra and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pop out because I think you guys got this. But I'm
well, let me ask you.
happy that I got.
Hold on, let me ask you
a ton of questions for you, Jess.
Liliana wrote to me. She says, Jessica, what was it like filming with a prosthetic leg?
Stories.
Chandra. So this was a common question, but also what is sort of like what I think was confusing, which was that I wasn't actually filming with a prosthetic because we only shot with the prosthetic when we would show Arizona without her pants on, which is Grey's Anatomy. There's lots of your pants off, right? Just kidding, not. There's only a couple times. I didn't film with the prosthetic very much, but does that answer the question?
Not really.
Question.
Should have avoided the question.
It was a green screen. It was a lot of like CGI. I
filmed with a prosthetic once when that was when I had to. Chandra, you remember that I had to tie my one of my legs behind my back, and then I put my knee into the prosthetic, and then we did some walking. So that was hard.
Wow.
We did a lot of moving Jessica's prosthetic around, right? So if she was,
Oh my gosh.
when Arizona was in a bad mood, right, and you had to comfort Arizona, then you ended up having to take her leg and put it somewhere for her because she didn't want to deal with it. But most of the time, she tried to be incredibly fashionable on the prosthetic end, if that's possible. So
I tried to represent that, you know, that there can be that's a big question, but I tried to represent that you are whole no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
With
answer
great
I love.
shoes, great pants, like all of that.
That's my cue. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Jessica, for the surprise.
Thank you.
Big hugs and kisses to you all virtually.
I love you.
All right.
So you so much.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you so much,
That was
Camilla.
fun.
Thanks.
Fans would like it.
Yes, ma'am. So, Chris, Marley has a question for you. It's another. I love some of the simple questions. What is your favorite thing about your character?
Oh, my favorite thing about my characters is probably the thing I need to channel Link in my personal life, because the dude has the longest patience I've ever seen. I mean, he's, you know, he always seems to take a breath and say, okay, how can I diffuse this situation, or how can I make this better, or how can I not say the stupidest thing I can think of? And I tend to do the opposite in my actual home life. So I'm trying to take notes from Link on that.
See, we thought that you were going to maybe say, Chris, that your favorite thing about your character was making an entrance, because your entrance to the series was pretty awesome.
Coming in, so we're going to have to move you to make room for...
Oh my God.
Someone asked for an ortho god?
It is heaven.
I haven't seen that clip for a while. That was great.
So good.
That's what I said. There was one clip we were going to take from previous seasons. It was yours, Chris.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I feel like watching it now, though. I feel like maybe we should have gotten a bigger fan to really.
Wow.
Really get. I feel like we could have mined it for more. It's great, but I think it could have been better.
Just like a ball of water, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just all out. Yeah.
Well, maybe on the other side of COVID, when you know it's all of you are back together, you can reclaim that and do it again.
That'll be my pitch. That'll be my pitch for Krista.
There you go. That's your pitch.
A windier entry.
Oh my gosh, Greg. Ambi asks, have you ever done research or interviewed real doctors before you taped a particular scene?
What is research?
Don't worry about it. Richard.
Don't worry about it. No, we actually did a really fun and deeply interesting Zoom thing with Chandra. You did it with us. We did that together with the doctors from Lenox Hill, the documentary that was on Netflix. And we have doctors on the set. I mean, Linda, our Linda Klein, who's there all the time. So research really happens, not just talking to doctors and so on, but while we're there, because one of the great things about Grey's and what I think keeps it on the air is that it tells the truth, not just in relationships, but the medical stuff that you're watching is all often cutting edge and real. And so, you're learning as you go to work. And but the thing we did with the Lenox Hill doctors was amazing. That documentary, it's like an 8 or 9 part documentary. I believe it was on Netflix.
Yeah, it's still there.
And it ends right when COVID starts. And it's just the most compelling, dynamic medical documentary I feel like I've ever seen. And it follows 4 doctors. And we were watching it, my wife and I, and then we got a call to do this Zoom interview with them. I guess it was. I was so starstruck to sit there with real doctors, and not just people like us who are, pretending all the time. So research happens all the time. When I go get my physical, I'm doing research.
Speaking of keeping,
the colonoscopy is research. Let me just say.
It's not pleasant.
Speaking of keeping it real, Seth and I noticed that there's a real change from like the early seasons to now as far as the procedures being on the graphic side.
Oh my God, I can't watch a thing anymore. It's like the close-ups, the holding of the
Seth
hearts.
You'd think he's watching Scandal because it's just like he'll turn his head. He can't watch it. Has there ever been a scene for any of you where it's been like so graphic that you're like, wow, I better not eat lunch before this scene?
All the time. In the ORs, all the time, we look at the cavities and go, this is really disgusting.
Like this season, there was a guy that was like fully burned. Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
That gave me chills.
You were in that scene with me, I think. Yeah, that was really great.
And there was like a square cut inside him. It was like,
that was nasty.
I think it was last season. Last season we peeled somebody's head.
At you.
Oh yeah.
We peeled the guy's head back.
Yeah.
The skin of his head back to get to his skull, and that. I mean, I made a video of the dummy that they made, and showed it to my wife later. She still hasn't spoken to me. It's been about 9 months. But it looked real. It looked like it was like a real human being that you did it to. It was amazing.
We always err on the side of just shooting it all, like in a tight, just going in and getting it, knowing that maybe we won't use it, but just to have it, and we always use it. Like we always.
Yeah, Chris, actually, I think you got more donations. Can you read them right now?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Sarah from Ireland, $15. Charlene.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my mom. I just texted her. Thanks for
that. Renee from Detroit, $10. Charlene, $5. Courtney from New York, $10. Daniela from Illinois, $10. Says, I have an unhealthy obsession with Grays. OMG, my heart is so happy watching this.
Yay.
All right, we've got Ashley from Pennsylvania, $50. Drita, $8. Radini from New Jersey, $25. And Amanda from Connecticut says, thank you all for showcasing and being role models for women in medicine. I really take to heart Dr. Bailey's attitude and being in my second year. Wait, did we do this one already?
Wait, we did that one.
Well, Amanda, you're still awesome.
That's right. There you go.
So, and we did Denise and Stacy from Tennessee as well, didn't we?
I'm losing track. There've been so many donations. All right, David, you'll figure out and make sure that.
Thank you, Denise and Stacy from Tennessee.
But Greg, I want to show before we move on to Richard. Richard, are you still having problems with being able to see the clips on your phone? How is it?
It's really slow, so everybody is kind of moving in very slow motion. I'm picking up like 10 seconds after, but it's fine. I can hear you, so
it's like Chris's entrance. It's that slow motion walk.
That's right.
I'm still reeling from that. I mean, I've never seen such hair in all my life. They wanted to do the same for my entrance, but we didn't have the goods.
Oh,
poor thing.
What can you do? What can you do?
Greg, I love the scene that was when you find out that you have COVID. It's so well acted, directed, written. I just want to show it just because, sadly I'm sure you and we definitely know quite a few people who have gotten COVID, and I just
been shocked by the diagnosis.
Yeah, I think it's a great scene.
Just the man I was looking for.
Great. What now?
You tested positive for COVID-19.
Funny. Kick a man when he's down.
14-day quarantine, hospital policy, contact tracing team will be in touch.
I'm not symptomatic.
Go home, Tom. Don't stop at the store. Just go home. Stay home. Try not to infect anyone else. Maybe you should put your mask back on.
Awkward.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit going on in that scene.
Yeah. It's
yes,
hard
I
when
know.
you have no symptoms. So I think that's what I appreciated the most out of that scene is that it's so hard to hear that you have COVID when you have no symptoms.
Exactly.
And it doesn't make sense. And you just want to stop at the store,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a cutting edge message for Jake. As a Jewish lesbian, I really resonate with Jake's character. Levi's coming out journey gave me the courage to come out.
Wow.
What would you say to the gay kids watching you who are finding inspiration from your story?
Oh, I mean, hearing that is one of the best things for me to hear. And I've the past 2 years getting to meet all of these incredible queer people and hearing these stories is so incredible because me coming out, and especially on a public level, was very, very difficult. And so I understand where you're coming from. And the thing that I always love to say the most is for all these kids who haven't come out yet, I love to let you know that you've already done the hardest thing that you can possibly do, which is come out to yourself. And I just love that this show has given all these people somebody to relate to. So that it's so special to hear that from her. So thank you.
Well, that's from V. Just saying.
Hold on, Richard.
Oh, Richard,
we lost
you're back.
Richard. There he's back.
Hi, Richard.
I'm here. I'm having, I don't know what's going on.
We're working from home, baby. Working from home.
That's right, Richard. So,
I don't know, but I can hear you anyway. So go on. Hit me.
Okay, so before we lose you, this is another question from a fan. My favorite part of Grey's is the intense eye contact over an open body. Do you have any tips for sexy eye communication with masks on?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. You gotta kind of wrinkle this and intensify this, and just sort of try to bore into the soul of the other person, and they kind of ignore what's going on down here. That's just that's every day.
Oh my God, I love these Richard Flood acting lessons. I love this.
Yeah, that's it. Come to my class, my seminar.
Oh my gosh. What were you gonna say, Seth?
Chandra, I found these photos, Chandra, of when I first interviewed you years ago. And first of all, I love your cute little hat. This is when we were
at the piano.
And you were doing Chicago at the time. Remember? And I told you to bring an embarrassing video, which you didn't have, but instead you brought some photos of yourself as a child.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Always been there. Always been doing it.
Oh my God.
That's what growing up.
And this for the rest of the cast. Yeah. I was talking to my friend from NBC, and he was talking about people getting roles. Chandra, do you remember who you tested against for Dr. Bailey?
So, Dr. Bailey was supposed to be a short, white, blonde female. And when I went in to, I tested on tape in New York, flew out to LA for my studio audition. And there were lots of actresses there for that. And when I got called back for the network audition later that day, it was me and Kristen Chenoweth. So I was like, "Oh, there's the short white." I was like the bounce off person. Like it was her, and then
And then it was literally almost like interns. I need you in the OR stat.
Such a different feel.
Yeah.
We love Kristen, but very different feel.
I texted her today. I was like, "Do you remember?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
Oh my God. We're wrapping up, but you know what? I want to show this. We're going to show that last, but I don't know if Richard's going to be able to see this, but this is I just picked some of my favorite scenes from this season. This is one with you, Richard, where you're talking to Meredith via, FaceTime, and she's just in the other room. It's just a beautiful one because I think it's, of course, one sadly we've seen and heard these stories.
I'm afraid if I fall asleep, I'm afraid I might not wake up.
Everyone's scared of you, Gray, you know that? It's because you're fierce. You've got teeth, grit. You fight to the bloody death about the stupidest little things. This virus has got nothing on you.
It's so sweet.
Very sweet. Richard couldn't see a thing, and it was very sweet.
Couldn't really see the clip. It just got stuck on my face and kind of contorted like this. But I do remember. I remember shooting it though. Yeah, it was quite. I suppose you feel sort of protected because you're doing a TV show, so it's not real, obviously. But the fact that this is the reality for so many people is, it's hard to deal with. It's hard to accept and hard to really. Certainly, myself, it's hard to imagine because we've been lucky so far in my family. But everything that we're doing this season, it all feels important. It resonates somewhere with somebody, and that's a worthy thing to do, I think.
Yes.
Chandra, that's the perfect time to read the final batch of donations for tonight. And then Julie's got one more last fan question, and then we've got a special surprise that we have for a final picture that we'll show before we go.
Seth, did you just make a broccoli run for the dog?
Hold on.
Chandra, very observant.
Yeah. Oh, you put it in that?
Yeah, that's why she chases after it. Ready, good girl. Go for it. Yeah. Good girl.
She's a fan of the show because she waited a long time before she started acting out.
Good girl.
Okay. What is the purpose of glasses if you can't see with them on? Okay. You said there was a thing of like a bunch of them. Okay. Wait. Okay. Thank you for the lap. No, we did that. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So Brandy from Canada, $25. Mandy from New Jersey, $5. Mila from the UK, $10. Abby from Wales, $25. Been watching the show for 5 whole years, and I've never been prouder. Yay. Thank you. Allison from New Hampshire, $10. Love you guys so much. I'm teaching a course on the politics of Grey's Anatomy in the coming semester, and I'm so grateful that you all have been so politically and culturally influential during the pandemic. Thank you for noticing. And then this batch says glasses. Okay. Alina from Florida, $10. Drita from New York, $8. Gabriel from Bel Air, $5. Carrie in Tennessee, $25. Thank you for what you're doing. Grey's got me through 2 bouts of cancer and kept me sane while I kicked its ass. You guys rock. You rock. And Sarah from Ireland, $15. It's my birthday today. And I want to say
happy birthday.
You're amazing. 2 hearts. Yay.
They're saying up late there.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Best.
So Julie, ask the last question here. This is from Jasmine.
Who is the most like their character and who is the least like their character?
No least.
You don't get to answer for yourself. Other people get to answer about you.
Ooh.
Wow.
Don't I feel like Jim Pickens is like that character kind of? I feel like Jim is like solid, the nicest guy. I feel like Jim is.
So he's the most like this character.
Yeah. You certainly say Richard is more flawed than he is.
Oh yeah, not the other stuff, but like just in his like not the alcohol,
Not the cheating and the poisoning.
and the blood poisoning. No, I mean like because that character is just so solid for everybody else, and I feel like he's on our cast. He's just like an anchor for us too.
Yeah.
I think all of us have a little trait of the character that's really true, like what you're saying with Jim, and like think of Debbie. Her character is such a razor sharp mover and shaker, and that's certainly Debbie. Debbie Allen.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Jesse is way more of a goofball than Jackson Avery. Jackson's really serious, but Jesse's not.
Very serious with the furrowed brow. And
Yeah. I think Chris, whenever Chris comes on the set, his hair does blow back like that.
We don't get to see like the real Camilla a lot with the British and the stuff. People would be amazed to see how different you are. So where is it? Why have you been hiding it during COVID?
Do you know what, Lindsay, our scriptie? She told me I screw up more than Kevin with my accent. So I'm working on it.
Kevin.
Because Kevin only screws up like one word, and I screw up every single day. So it's good for me to keep practicing. Clearly,
do you guys have like
Kevin is also very different from his role? The army man is out like living on a farm with llamas and stuff like that. I feel like
that's true. Jake, I feel like you're kind of like your role too.
I'm a lot like my role. I'm a lot anxious and I'm very clumsy and I don't like blood. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Camilla, do you like Richard and Kevin have like a UK lunch area where you have like blood pudding and stuff?
blood.
I would like that.
Yeah, we should do that. Like your own little corner. No, yeah, now we'll get on it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's next. That's it must be a list. Yeah, we'll put them
An elite corner.
Afternoon tea.
Chandra, thank you so much for making this happen.
Very,
Really?
very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you guys for heeding the call and coming on in. And you know, I adore the Actors Fund so much. And we are influential, whether we want to be or not. So if we're going to be that, this is a great place to do it in. So thank you for this platform. I really appreciate that. I you know, I adore you guys. You just make me laugh. You just make me laugh all the time.
Chandra, before we go, Kendall Wright sent me this picture that Krista took of you know what I'm going to show?
Yeah.
What was it like before I show it? Because this is the photo that I don't think has been seen by the viewers.
So
has
beautiful. It? If we put it out or not. I thought we did a little on the Twitter.
Okay.
But it's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So what was it like? I'm gonna show it right now because it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
What was it like to all be together? You all look beautiful. What was that like?
In our pastel. It was like OG time on the bench there. And it's funny, we were all like really protective of TR, making sure like nobody was taking pictures, like no fans walking around. We really wanted that reveal to be the treat that it that it was going to be for our fans. So you know, anytime we're around TR night, you just want to take care of him. So that's how, you know, that's the Bailey part of our relationship that's really real. You just want to take care of him, and it was a treat. It was a big treat for us.
Where was that beach?
Oh,
where indeed?
Oh,
that's not an answer.
Water.
That was very tricky.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
Somewhere in the Northwest region.
Pretty.
Well, thanks again, Camilla, Chris, Jake, Greg, Richard. Thank you all. It was so much fun, and we hope you come back, Chandra. You know, anytime.
When I know, hey, open invites. I like that.
All right. Seth, what are you gonna play as we go out?
Oh, I don't know. What should I play? That's
Well, how about Chandra? How about getting her? How about
me?
Yeah, you've sung on Broadway, and so have you, Greg. Come on, Chandra.
What are you playing back
there?
there?
It's Chris.
What am I playing? It's a song you literally sang 1,000 times a week. Hold on, do you hear
Here we go.
I did something 1,000.
From Chicago.
Got a little motto.
Oh, that I couldn't hear. I could not hear. I couldn't hear. Is that my key? Is that my key?
Yeah.
Now I have to remember words. Wait a minute. I can't remember words. They say that life is tit for tat, but that's the way I live. Now I deserve a lot of tat for what I got to give. Don't you know that this hand washes that one too? When you're good to mama, mama's good to you.
Yeah. Great way to end. And Mandy wanting more broccoli, Chandra. Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All the best.